and conduct our business. We will begin our meeting by looking to have a prayer, reading, or thought, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. We do look for volunteers to participate with us in that. Is there any with us today who'd be willing to offer a prayer, reading, or thought, or lead us in the pledge? Thank you, Eric. Anyone on a prayer, reading, or thought? Spring, thank you. If you'll come to the podium and state your name.
Spring Kenton. Dear kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this day that you bestowed upon us. We thank you for the opportunity to join together, and we ask a blessing upon all the decisions that we make throughout this day. We love thee and thank thee and say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We did have one general announcement we wanted to make everyone aware of and remind them of. This Saturday, we will be having a Provo Canyon community cleanup. This cleanup has been organized in response to a lot of the unauthorized and homeless camping that's occurred in the canyon that's put our riverways and our public safety at risk. And we've coordinated with our health department, our sheriff's department, our wildland fire mitigation, and our local community leaders to put what we hope will be a wonderful event together to clean up the canyon and help beautify that area, do some wildfire mitigation, and most importantly, make it a safe, beautiful place for the residents of Utah County to recreate this summer. We'd look for your participation and we'd love for you to join us. We'll be starting at 9 o'clock Saturday at the Canyon View Park is the staging area where that will occur. And again, we appreciate all of the volunteers and the county staff who's put their time and effort into making this what I'm sure will be a wonderful event. We'd love to invite anyone who would like to join us with that. We will now go ahead and go through the process of building our agenda. All items will be moved to consent unless held for discussion. Currently on our consent agenda, we have 18 items. Were there any of those that needed further clarification or discussion?
Go ahead. Number 9 and 10, if we could hold those.
I just had a quick question on the health department. On number 7, those are the ones that were budgeted for this upcoming year in the last budget process, or are these additional?
They're
For
new.
the Alpine School. This was the one
new.
Well, I know they were new, but we had budgeted, they had asked for, we knew they were coming up. That's my question. Okay. That was my only question on that.
All right, so I have 9 and 10 that we will hold for discussion. Looking to our regular agenda, I believe we were having challenges with one of our uploaded minutes, which was at for June 12th, so that would probably be struck until next week. We can put that back on. I had number 4 to be held for further discussion.
I think number 4, if we could continue that. I was talking with Robert for 1 week. Still some more work needs to be done.
It works for me. Greg, you're good with that?
Yep.
And number 11.
We'd also hold number 9 and 10.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, we will go ahead then and move back and look at consent agenda item number 9. This is to approve and authorize the commission signature on a communications use lease with U.S. Forest Service.
Simple one. It looks like Don's name's on there. I wonder if we shouldn't replace that.
Yes,
put
we
your name on
should.
there.
Seen
Okay.
that-
I just
that,
want to make sure that
note
we
from
put.
Ben, and we'll make that change.
Okay.
Probably put Robert Hancock as he's the communications manager.
That'd be great. That was the only question I had, was make sure that we have that name change appropriately.
Okay. No additional questions. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve and authorize the commission chair signature on the communications use with the name change from Don Ney to Robert
Robert
Hancock.
Hancock.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda item number 9. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion will carry 3-0. We'll now move to consent agenda item number 10. This is to look at approving and authorizing commission signature on an agreement with Sesco to provide and install new fuel site controller.
So my question on this one is, in reading through it, it appears like we're paying for the vendor's mistake, or maybe you can just kind of explain, because as you read down through it, it gets confusing.
What we had is we had a bid put out for the controller to be done. We had, I think is it West Tech? Is that the one that had the error on theirs? Do you know, Robert? Okay. We had one of the vendors that had only done a 4-unit controller instead of an 8-unit controller. So as we got into it, realized that didn't meet the specs. So we went to the next vendor, which is Sesco. They're the ones that did our one at Public Works a couple of years ago. So it would be the same controller that we'd have there. But when West Tech put in the correct unit, they were $700 or $800 higher than Sesco.
So the controllers go on each of the pumps, they don't actually go inside that house for a reading?
It's
That station, I mean?
There's in a stand out there that has all the controller in it, but it has to be able to operate the number of pumps that are out there.
I say, because when I remember is you punch in your code and
Correct.
so, okay, but it has to be done in the pumps.
No, it just has to be able to handle 8 pumps versus 4 pumps.
Okay.
On the controller
On
itself.
just the one controller.
side, yes.
So we're not paying for a mistake, we're paying for an additional from 4 to 8.
Yeah, the original bid that was in error was they had bid the wrong controller. They bid a 4-unit controller instead of an 8-unit controller.
But we didn't put that in.
No.
Okay.
It's
That was the confusion part. I was
That's where
wondering
the
if we-
difference is. The original low bid was West
Yeah.
Tech, but they were only a 4-unit controller. So when they corrected that, Sesco is now the low bid for the 8-unit controller, so.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
No additional questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Move that we approve and authorize commission chair to sign consent agenda 10.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve and authorize consent agenda item number 10. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion will carry 3-0. It's continued. We'll now move to our regular agenda item number 7. This is to look at approving and authorizing commission signature contract with the state of Utah. Oh, excuse me, wrong one.
Number 9?
9. This is to approve and authorize an agreement between Utah County and LabSource for the purchase of gloves. Commissioner Lee,
On this one, there's no cost, there's budget accounts, numbers. Brian pointed this out in the comments. And it seems like we had, with LabSource, we right now have, at least I'll have to go back and look at there was some confusion too on
There's
a
more than
past
one
one.
budget that pays for it. There's some out of 42,350 and some out of 42,300, just because of the reasons for using them, booking, and then within the jail. So that might have been why they didn't put that
But
there.
did this go to bid?
But they didn't even put a total amount, but I saw that there were 2
I know
invoices
this came
totaling
about
about
because,
20,000.
as a new requirement from the purchasing agent to have a contract. So it just depends, on how much we buy. We could look historically and see, but, Al Carrito does our purchasing for programs portion, and he knows what amount he has to spend and falls within that, so.
Okay.
So he's under the $2,500? Or is this a bid win?
No, it's probably closer to 10,000 for the year for gloves in the entire jail.
So the only part with that, with Brian's comments, when I look under the contract number 4, it says attachment B, contractor's invoices. In other words, whatever the contractor pays, the way I read the contract is whatever the contractor invoices us for, we're liable for. And that's the open-ended invoice, and I think that's the concern, is making sure.
But I
that
know
there's a-
Carrito does follow the policy. If it's a certain amount, how many bids he gets. He
Okay.
obviously has X number of dollars to spend. He's not gonna spend it all and then ask for more. He knows what he needs, finds the best, priced ones for the quality that we need.
So this was the one, though, I think in the past that we had a problem with contract, right? We didn't have a
Correct.
contract in place.
Correct. So the contract is new, the purchase is not.
And then, just wanted to clarify that it was, with the two invoices that were shown in the exhibits, it was just under 20,000. You'd mentioned the figure 10,000.
Oh, okay,
So it is more like 20,000?
probably, yeah. And I know it's not a regular purchase, so that could last them over,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
the next year or whatever, so,
Figured it
year and a
probably
half,
would.
so.
Okay.
Okay, so without the accounts in there, are you satisfied with that, Brian, on an accounting basis, or?
Yeah,
or-
if
and-
Daleen, because ultimately is the financial person out there, she'll make sure that it's covered within the budget. So I'm satisfied that she knows that there's funds there. It's just that they weren't listed for me to verify or check.
If I could just, Robert Baxter, purchasing, if I could just add a little bit of clarification. What's on the agenda for today was for a purchase, I think, yeah, it was about 19,000. And so our purchasing rules require that there be a contract in place for that. We're probably going to get in place, and that's just to cover the purchase that is being made now. We're probably going to work to get a separate contract in place for future purchases as well.
Okay,
We'll be working with court.
gone through the RFP process and everything.
Well, this is for care of inmates, so it can fall under the care of inmate exemption, so it doesn't have to be competed.
And how come we use two account numbers? That's the part that was confusing to me. Like, I understand the purchase, I understand what they're used for, but they all seem like they're singular use.
As far as the account numbers, like Daleen mentioned, they're for different areas and there's different cost centers. And so it's very appropriate to split the cost amongst various
Okay.
account numbers.
Okay.
Okay,
No additional questions? I didn't have any motion.
I'll make a motion that we, let's see, number 9, that we approve and authorize the agreement between Utah County and LabSource as stated number 9 on our regular agenda.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve regular agenda item number 9. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion will carry 3-0. Next, we have regular agenda item number 10. This is to approve and authorize an agreement between the state of Utah, Administration Office of the Courts, and the county for bailiff and security services.
Yeah, the only question I have on this is Sheriff Tracy's listed as the contact information on there. Is this gonna have to be amended at the first of the year? Or should we do something now so that it will continue? Because it goes till, the contract doesn't expire till June 30th, 2019.
I would assume we could probably amend it at the beginning of the year, just leave it the way, since he is current.
Right?
I don't know if that runs into issues, but I don't think that'd be a big one to contact them and just amend that with the state.
So I actually have a different question on this. I guess my concern on this contract is it is set up, in other words, to reimburse the county for expending the funds for 100% of the service, right? Roughly. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be.
Roughly, yes. Obviously, as you recall, last year it was cut substantially,
Right.
and this year there's 83,000 more than we did we had this current contract.
Right, so this is my only concern. Having gone and been to the courthouse, talking with some of those deputies in the last little bit, I'm wondering, we reimburse them for mileage to get there after they check in at the SO, I believe, based on kind of what I was hearing from them, because they're not issued a county vehicle. And the contract, so in other words, the county's eating quite a bit, and I didn't know if there's any way to recover some of those funds, or, you know, you see what I'm saying on, because.
Well, yeah, we do have a couple that obviously will have to go from court to cover where shortages. Most of them go directly to the courthouse they're assigned. We do have a few deputies that'll have to transfer from, say, Spanish Fork Court to Provo Court to help fill
Right.
shortages, but they do respond directly to the courthouse.
Yeah, but in those cases when we're doing mileage reimbursement, that's what I'm saying, we're also eating an additional amount, and I don't know if there's a way to reflect that in there so that I just don't want them to cut next year and say, oh, blah, 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 and when we're already eating a portion and we don't take into account some of those ancillary costs and things like that in there.
Yeah.
Just something to be aware of for
Yeah,
me.
it's
So,
a good point there. Oh, and with that, I don't know if you guys have been approached by the sheriff with that extra due to the pending shortages we'll have facilitating the operation of the new courthouse. We'd like to use that extra 83,000 to request another deputy 2 to help that shortage we will have. We assume we'll be short 5 people running that court building come the beginning of 2019, but I don't know if you want me to address that as far as the budget process coming through with that contract amount, or
I'd like to treat that court like the AOC treated the county, quite honestly, but it's probably for another discussion.
sure. But yes, we can amend that.
So Dave, on my original question, are you fine with putting the sheriff's name on there for half a year and then switching that, and who's gonna be responsible to amend that?
Half the year, so I think that, I would leave it the way it is, so we can change it later.
Okay.
All right, seeing no additional questions, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve and authorize the agreement as stated in number 10 on our regular agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve regular agenda item number 10. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion will carry 3-0. That will bring us to regular agenda item number 11. This is to look at approving and authorizing execution of retention agreement for opioid manufacturers and distributors, investigation and litigation. This would be the culmination of a long process that started quite a while ago. Commissioner Lee, maybe if you wanted to take a moment and
Sure, you bet.
say talk about this.
We have worked through this process. I think all of us has had the opportunity to look at the contract that's in place and have some input on that, as well as our the firm that is going to be representing us, and we've come to this stage now of approving that and being able to move forward so that we can appropriately go forward with this. I wanted to point out a couple of things. One thing, because a lot of people say, why we're doing this, and this one's not specific to Utah County, but it illustrates a point that is really stark in its contrast. In Kermit, West Virginia, that's Mingo County, they have 406 people as of the 2010 census. I would like anybody to just got to guess, and this, I don't know, don't raise your hands or anything, but in your mind, guess at how many opioid pills came out of that county in a 1 year period of time. Do you think, would it shock you that, remember, 406 people, but out of that one county, there was prescribed 9 million pills? That's just unbelievable to me. And that's a real stark contrast of what's going on. I mean, the epicenter for this opioid and the litigation that's going on here is Pennsylvania, West Virginia area. That seems to be the real center for it. But it affects us in many ways. We're going around doing town hall meetings and talking about these and trying to get the awareness out there. And we're working hard trying to get the education process out there. We have our stakeholders, the hospitals, the doctors that are a part of the solution that we're working with, and so this contract is a step forward. It'll help us to keep the dialogue going, put some pressure on, and move forward. And so I'm all in favor of approving this contract and moving forward with the firm that we've selected.
Thank you. All right, fully echo that. It's been a great process and excited to move forward. So.
Yeah. The only thing I would add is the commission we selected, Commissioner Lee, to represent us to head this, and I'd like to thank him for his hard work and doing the little extra and keeping us involved in that. And like say in the future, like Commissioner Lee pointed out, and I know Commissioner Ivey has worked really well with our substance abuse. Hopefully we can find an answer, because Utah County, this is a crisis level, knowing where we're at with the Sheriff's Department and substance abuse, the Health Department. So hopefully we get this resolved soon and find the right way to help our citizens that need the help. So.
All right, seeing no further discussion, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move then that we approve and authorize the execution of retention agreement for the opioid manufacturers and distributors, investigation and litigation.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve regular agenda item number 11. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion will carry 3-0. We'll now look to set our closed meetings. We will not be needing 12 or 13. We do need 14 and 15.
I believe it's my turn, so I'll make a motion that we strike number 12 and number 13 from our regular agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second to strike regular agenda items number 12 and 13. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, carries 3-0.
I'll make a motion that we approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual or individuals at today's date at this location following the completion of our regular agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve regular agenda item number 14. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Will carry 3-0.
Make a motion that we approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting for a strategy session to discuss the pending or reasonable imminent litigation at today's date at this location following the completion of our regular agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve regular agenda item number 15. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion will carry 3-0. We had no work session items submitted. Is there any general public comment? Seeing none, we'll thank you.
We have one.
I was talking to my deputy, Jeff Smith, recorder. I'd just like to thank the commission for the salary study implementation. Our staff really liked it, and we appreciate that they funded it, and it's going forward. So we talked to all of our staff, and we're putting up the midpoint or wherever they should be, and we appreciate the efforts that were made. So thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional public comment? All right, seeing none, we will thank you for your participation with us today and move into our closed meetings.